The Ghosts of Sarah Winchester, Trapped Spirits in a House of Mystery. Emma had always been fascinated by the Winchester Mystery House, a mansion in San Jose, California, that was said to be haunted by the ghosts of people killed by the owner's rifles. As a paranormal investigator, she was drawn to the house's strange history and architectural features. One day, Emma decided to visit the house to conduct her own investigation and see if she could experience any paranormal activity. As Emma entered the house, she was struck by its strange layout and confusing design. She noticed staircases that led nowhere, doors that opened onto walls, and rooms that seemed to have no purpose. As she explored the house, Emma began to feel a sense of unease and realized that she was not alone. Emma heard footsteps and saw shadows moving in the corners of her vision. She tried to rationalize these occurrences, but they only became more frequent and intense. Emma began to believe that the ghosts of the Winchester Mystery House were trying to communicate with her, and that there was something important that they wanted her to know. Despite her fear, Emma was determined to uncover the truth behind the house's haunting and to help free the trapped spirits. She knew that she had to face her fears and delve deeper into the mystery of the Winchester Mystery House. As Emma continued her investigation of the Winchester Mystery House, she met with a local historian who shared some interesting information with her. The historian explained that the house's owner, Sarah Winchester, had been haunted by the ghosts of the victims of the Winchester rifles, which had been manufactured by her late husband's company. The historian also told Emma that Sarah had believed that the ghosts were seeking revenge on her for the deaths caused by the rifles, and that she had built the house to confuse and trap them. Emma found this information fascinating and decided to conduct further research into the history of the house and its owner. She visited local libraries and archives and scoured old newspapers and documents for any information that could help her understand the house's haunting. As she uncovered more information, Emma began to piece together a picture of Sarah Winchester and the ghosts that haunted her. Emma learned that Sarah had been deeply affected by the deaths caused by the Winchester rifles, and that she had become obsessed with the idea that the ghosts were seeking revenge on her. She had consulted with mediums and psychics who had convinced her that the only way to appease the spirits was to build a house that would confuse and trap them. Emma realized that Sarah had been driven to madness by her guilt and grief, and that the house was a reflection of her troubled mind. Despite the disturbing nature of her research, Emma felt compelled to continue her investigation and to uncover the truth behind the Winchester Mystery House's haunting. As Emma delved deeper into the mystery of the Winchester Mystery House, she began to experience increasingly terrifying paranormal activity. She heard voices whispering in her ear, felt cold spots in the air, and saw shadowy figures moving in the corners of her vision. Emma realized that the ghosts of the Winchester Mystery House were becoming more aggressive and that she was in real danger. Emma sought the help of a psychic medium who specialized in communicating with the dead. The medium told Emma that the ghosts were trying to communicate with her, and that she needed to listen carefully to what they were saying. The medium also warned Emma that the ghosts were angry, and that they might try to harm her if she did not tread carefully. Despite her fear, Emma continued her investigation and began to communicate with the ghosts of the Winchester Mystery House. She asked them questions and listened carefully to their responses, hoping to uncover the truth behind the house's haunting. Over time, Emma began to understand the ghosts' anger and pain and realized that they were trapped in the house by their own sense of justice. Emma realized that she had a responsibility to help the ghosts find peace and to free them from their trapped existence. She knew that the only way to do this was to unravel the mystery of the Winchester Mystery House and to confront the ghosts directly. Emma steeled herself for what was to come, knowing that she was the only one who could help the trapped spirits find peace. As Emma began her exploration of the Winchester Mystery House, she was immediately struck by its strange and disorienting architecture. The house had staircases that led nowhere, doors that opened onto walls, and secret passages that twisted and turned through the walls. Emma felt as though she were trapped in a labyrinth, and she wondered how anyone could live in such a confusing and disorienting place. As she continued to explore, Emma began to notice strange markings and symbols carved into the walls and ceilings of the house. She realized that these markings were not simply decorative, but were part of a complex and intricate system of codes and puzzles that seemed to be designed to confuse and mislead anyone who tried to navigate the house. Emma soon discovered that the codes and puzzles were not just decorative, but were an integral part of the house's design. She began to decipher the symbols and markings, using her knowledge of ancient languages and cryptography to unlock their secrets. She found that the codes and puzzles led her to hidden rooms and secret passageways, and that they contained clues to the house's haunted history. As Emma delved deeper into the mystery of the Winchester Mystery House, she realized that the codes and puzzles were part of Sarah Winchester's plan to trap and confuse the vengeful ghosts that haunted her. She understood that the symbols and markings were meant to confuse the ghosts and to keep them from finding their way out of the house. Emma realized that she was on the brink of uncovering the truth behind the Winchester Mystery House's haunting, and that she was closer than ever to finding a way to free the trapped spirits. As Emma continued her investigation of the Winchester Mystery House, she encountered more and more evidence of the spirits that haunted the place. She saw shadowy figures moving in the corners of her vision, heard disembodied voices whispering in her ear, and felt cold spots in the air. The closer she got to the truth, the more intense the paranormal activity became. Emma also began to uncover the tragic history behind the ghosts of the Winchester Mystery House. She learned that many of them were victims of the rifles that Sarah Winchester's husband had designed and manufactured, and that they were seeking revenge for the deaths that these rifles had caused. Emma realized that the ghosts were not evil, but were simply trapped and angry, and that they were seeking justice for the wrongs that had been done to them. As Emma pieced together the history of the house and its haunting, she began to realize that the only way to free the trapped spirits was to confront their pain and help them find closure. She knew that she needed to find a way to communicate with the ghosts and to help them understand that their anger and pain were keeping them trapped in the house. Emma also knew that she needed to find a way to make amends for the wrongs that had been done to them and to help them find a way to move on to the afterlife. Emma resolved to confront the ghosts directly, no matter how dangerous or terrifying it might be. She knew that the only way to uncover the truth behind the Winchester Mystery House's haunting was to face the ghosts head-on, and she was determined to do whatever it took to help the trapped spirits find peace. As Emma prepared to confront the ghosts of the Winchester Mystery House, she knew that she needed to take precautions to protect herself. She gathered all the information she could about the paranormal activity in the house and consulted with experts in the field of ghost hunting. She armed herself with protective talismans and equipment that could detect the presence of spirits. Emma decided to conduct her investigation during the dead of night, when the paranormal activity in the house was said to be the most intense. She entered the house armed with her equipment and talismans and made her way through the labyrinthine corridors and staircases, searching for the ghosts. As she moved deeper into the house, the paranormal activity intensified, and Emma began to feel the weight of the spirits' anger and pain. She heard screams and moans echoing through the halls and saw shadowy figures moving in the darkness. Finally, Emma came face to face with the ghosts. At first, she was terrified, but then she realized that they were not there to harm her. They were simply trapped and seeking justice for the wrongs that had been done to them. Emma spoke to the ghosts, telling them that she understood their pain and that she was there to help them find closure. She apologized for the wrongs that had been done to them and promised to do everything in her power to make amends. Slowly, the ghosts began to calm down, and their anger and pain began to dissipate. They thanked Emma for listening to them and for helping them find peace. As Emma left the Winchester Mystery House, She felt a sense of relief and accomplishment, knowing that she had helped free the trapped spirits and put an end to the house's haunting. After Emma's successful encounter with the ghosts of the Winchester Mystery House, she decided to delve deeper into the history of the house and the people who lived there. She discovered that the owner, Sarah Winchester, had suffered immense grief and guilt over the deaths caused by her husband's rifles, which had led her to build the strange and labyrinthine house in an attempt to appease the spirits. Emma also learned about the tragic life of Sarah Winchester, including the loss of her infant daughter, the death of her husband, and her own battle with illness. She discovered that Sarah had turned to spiritualism and mediums in an attempt to communicate with the spirits of those killed by the rifles. As Emma delved deeper into the history of the house and its owner, she began to feel a deep sense of empathy and compassion for Sarah Winchester. She realized that Sarah had been driven to build the strange house out of a deep sense of guilt and remorse, and that she had been desperately searching for a way to atone for the deaths caused by her family's rifles. Emma began to see the house in a new light, not just as a haunted and mysterious place, but also as a testament to the human capacity for grief and the search for redemption. She felt a deep sense of respect for Sarah Winchester and the struggles she had faced, and knew that her encounter with the ghosts of the house had given her a newfound appreciation for the power of empathy and understanding. As Emma continued her research into the Winchester Mystery House, she came across stories of other visitors who had experienced supernatural encounters in the house. Some had reported seeing ghostly apparitions, while others had felt strange presences and heard unexplained noises. Emma also learned about the various theories and rumors surrounding the house, including the idea that it was built to confuse and trap the spirits of those killed by the rifles, or that Sarah Winchester had been instructed by a medium to build the strange and labyrinthine house as a way of protecting herself from the angry spirits. Despite the many rumors and stories surrounding the house, Emma remained determined to uncover the truth about the ghosts of the Winchester Mystery House. She continued to research and investigate, seeking out any clues or evidence that might shed light on the mysterious and haunted nature of the house. As she delved deeper into the history and folklore of the house, Emma began to feel a sense of unease and foreboding. She knew that there were many unanswered questions and secrets lurking within the walls of the Winchester Mystery House, and she wondered if she would ever be able to uncover the truth about the trapped spirits and the mysteries of the house. Emma's research into the Winchester Mystery House led her to a discovery that would change everything. She stumbled upon a hidden room in the house that had been sealed off for decades, and upon entering, she found herself surrounded by strange and eerie objects. In the center of the room, Emma found an old trunk that was filled with documents and letters. As she sifted through the papers, she realized that they were written by Sarah Winchester herself, detailing her experiences with the spirits in the house and her efforts to build the strange and labyrinthine structure. The letters also revealed that Sarah Winchester had been plagued by guilt over the deaths caused by her husband's rifles, and that she had believed the spirits of those killed were seeking revenge against her. She had turned to a medium for guidance, and had been instructed to build the house as a way of confusing and trapping the angry spirits. As Emma read through the letters, she felt a chill run down her spine. The revelations were shocking, and she knew that she had stumbled upon a truth that had been hidden for decades. But as she looked around the hidden room, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched by something otherworldly. With this new information in hand, Emma knew that she needed to delve even deeper into the mysteries of the Winchester Mystery House. But she also knew that the spirits of the house were watching her every move, and that she would need to be careful if she wanted to uncover the truth about the haunted mansion. As Emma continued her investigation into the Winchester Mystery House, strange things began to happen. She started experiencing intense headaches and dizzy spells, and she noticed that she was being followed by shadowy figures that seemed to disappear as soon as she turned to face them. Emma began to feel like she was losing her grip on reality. She started having vivid nightmares about the spirits of the house, and she found herself becoming more and more obsessed with uncovering the truth about the mansion's haunted history. Despite her growing fears, Emma refused to give up her investigation. She continued to explore the dark corners of the house, determined to uncover the secrets that lay hidden within its walls. But as she delved deeper, the spirits of the house seemed to grow more and more agitated. Doors slammed shut behind her, and the stairs beneath her feet seemed to shift and twist, leading her down paths that she didn't remember taking. Emma knew that she was in danger, but she couldn't bring herself to leave the house. She was determined to uncover the truth about the spirits that haunted the mansion, even if it meant risking her own safety. One day, as Emma was exploring the house, she came across a locked door. Despite her best efforts, she couldn't get it open, but she felt a strange pull towards it, as if there was something important on the other side. Determined to find a way in, Emma spent hours searching for the key. Finally, she found it hidden away in a dusty corner of the attic. With the key in hand, Emma unlocked the door and stepped inside. She was immediately struck by the darkness and stillness of the room. As she made her way further in, she saw that the walls were covered in strange markings and symbols that she couldn't understand. Suddenly, Emma heard a voice whispering in her ear. She turned around, but there was no one there. The voice grew louder, and Emma realized that it was coming from the walls themselves. As the whispers grew more intense, Emma felt a cold hand on her shoulder. She turned around to face the ghostly figure of Sarah Winchester, the former owner of the house. Sarah's eyes were filled with an otherworldly sadness, and Emma knew that she was in the presence of a trapped spirit. Sarah spoke to her, warning her of the dangers of the house and urging her to leave before it was too late. Trembling with fear, Emma knew that she had to find a way to release Sarah and the other trapped spirits from their eternal torment. But how could she do it? Determined to free the trapped spirits, Emma decided to do some research on Sarah Winchester and the history of the house. She spent long hours in the local library, poring over old newspapers and books, trying to piece together the puzzle of the Winchester mystery house. Finally, Emma discovered a clue in an old diary that had been written by Sarah Winchester herself. In the diary, Sarah had written about a secret room in the house where she had conducted strange and mystical rituals in an attempt to appease the spirits that haunted her. Armed with this knowledge, Emma set out to find the secret room. She searched the house from top to bottom, but it was nowhere to be found. Just when she was about to give up, Emma remembered a strange symbol that she had seen on one of the walls in the locked room. She realized that it was a key to unlocking the secret room. With a sense of excitement and trepidation, Emma returned to the locked room and examined the wall. She traced her fingers over the symbol, feeling a strange energy coursing through her body. Suddenly, the symbol glowed with an otherworldly light, and a hidden door opened in the wall. Emma stepped inside, feeling the cold air rush past her. She knew that she was about to face her greatest challenge yet, but she was determined to succeed and set the trapped spirits free. After the fire, the mansion was severely damaged, and the few remaining parts were left in a state of neglect. Sarah's remaining workers and servants were left with no job and home, and they went their separate ways. For many years, the mansion was left unoccupied, and the locals in the area continued to talk about the strange occurrences surrounding the mansion. The authorities had closed off the mansion, and it had been labeled a hazardous location. However, a few curious locals and historians continued to sneak into the mansion to explore it, despite the danger. Some claimed that they could still hear the sounds of doors slamming and footsteps echoing through the corridors. The mansion was eventually bought by a wealthy businessman who decided to restore it to its former glory. However, the workers who came to work on the restoration reported strange happenings, like their tools disappearing and hearing ghostly whispers. Some claimed to have seen apparitions of Sarah Winchester and the workers who died in the mansion. The rumors of the mansion being haunted continue to this day, and it remains a popular tourist attraction. Despite the restoration, many parts of the mansion remain untouched, and the mystery of Sarah Winchester's motive and the secrets hidden behind the walls of the mansion continue to fascinate people. The mansion has become a place of pilgrimage for those who believe in ghosts and the supernatural, and it continues to attract visitors from all over the world who come to witness the house's mystery and the ghosts of Sarah Winchester. As Emily and Jack continued their exploration of the Winchester Mystery House, they stumbled upon a secret room hidden behind a bookshelf. Inside the room, they found an old journal that belonged to Sarah Winchester. As they began reading through the journal, they discovered that Sarah had been tormented by the ghosts of those who had been killed by her husband's rifles. She believed that the only way to appease their spirits was to continue building onto the house indefinitely. As they read on, they discovered that Sarah had become obsessed with the idea of eternal life and had begun to believe that the spirits of the dead could grant her that wish. She had built secret rooms and passageways throughout the house to hide from the spirits, but they always seemed to find her. Finally, in the last entry of the journal, Sarah revealed that she had come to realize the futility of her actions. She had spent her entire life trying to escape death, but it was inevitable. She had come to accept her fate and had decided to stop the construction on the house. Emily and Jack were shocked by the revelations in the journal. They had never imagined that Sarah Winchester's actions were driven by such deep and tragic motivations. As they left the room and made their way out of the house, they couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness for the woman who had spent her life haunted by the ghosts of her past. As the group makes their way back through the twisting corridors and hidden rooms of the Winchester Mystery House, they can feel a sense of unease settling over them. They know they are close to confronting the spirits that have been haunting the house for over a century. When they finally arrive at the room where Sarah Winchester spent most of her final days, they find themselves face to face with a group of ghostly figures. These are the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles, and they are angry and vengeful. The group prepares to fight, but it quickly becomes clear that their weapons are useless against the ghosts. Just as all seems lost, a figure steps forward from the shadows. It is the ghost of Sarah Winchester herself. She explains that she has been trapped in the house all these years, unable to leave until the spirits she unwittingly helped create have been put to rest. With Sarah's help, the group is able to banish the vengeful spirits once and for all. As the last ghost disappears, the group can feel the energy in the house shift. The oppressive atmosphere that has weighed on them since they arrived begins to dissipate, and they can finally breathe easy. As they make their way out of the house, the group realizes that they will never forget their experience in the Winchester Mystery House. They will always remember the ghosts of Sarah Winchester, trapped spirits in a house of mystery,